Hey everyone, it's Ken with Ken's Creations. Well, I've had my Cricut Explorer now for a couple of months, and I have been able to go in and play with Design Space, play with the machine, and see the capabilities. One of the things that I love about Design Space and the Cricut Explorer is the fact that the software does all the work for you. And what I mean by that is if I was to insert an image, this little bear here, and hit Insert, all I have to do is size it to whatever size I would like it, hit go, and the software does everything else for me. It breaks it down onto the mats, it positions it on the paper, it literally does everything I need it to do, and all I have to do is load the mats. Now, other programs, for example, like Cricut Craft Room or Silhouette Studio, is a little different in the fact that they give you a mat, you place your images on the mat, and then you cut it. So for some people, they want the ability to put all of their cuts on one mat and do the technique, which is called what you see is what you get. And it also is a great way to save paper because you're able to put all of your cuts on one mat, position your papers so you're just doing one cut for all of your layers. You can do the same thing in Design Space by just following a few quick steps. And I'm going to show you how we do that. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to create a virtual mat. And the way we're going to do that is by going into Set Canvas. This canvas option basically is in Design Space, and it's a template basically for you to work with. So if you're designing something for, let's say, a baby onesie, it's going to put that onesie in your Design Space. You can put the different sizes you need it, so that way when you design your project, you can see it on the onesie and it will cut exactly as you see it. So for this demonstration, we're going to use the basic canvas option. We're going to hit done, and it's going to bring that into session here. Now it automatically defaults to a 12 by 12, which we need to adjust that because we need it to be at 11.5 inches. And the reason why is I've tried doing it at 12 by 12, and unfortunately Design Space says that that image is too large and I need to cut that on a 12 by 24 mat, which we don't want. So we do have to make it at 11.5 or 11.5 inches. Now you can also choose the color of your virtual mat. So in this case, I'm going to hit cream. And then you're going to want to go ahead and hit Update Canvas. You're going to see your canvas turn over here to this nice khaki color. The next thing you're going to want to do is we're going to want to turn on our grid system. And the way you do that is by this upper left-hand little corner, there's this little box. When you put a check mark in there, it's going to break everything down in little grids. And the reason we want to do this is our Cricut mat is 12 by 12 and it has grids on it and they're broken into 1-inch segments. And the same thing is here. Your grids are broken into a 1-inch segment. So later on when you're cutting your paper, this will be key. The next thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and choose our image we're going to be working with. I'm going to go ahead and work with, let's go ahead and work with this little line here with the birthday hat. Now before we break down our layers, we want to go ahead and resize this to what we would need it to be. So if I'm making this for a card, let's say I want to make him 3 inches tall. I'm going to go up to this edit box. I'm going to go into the height and put 3 inches. Now it's important you don't want to turn off this little lock because if you do, he'll just go 3 inches high but keep his width at 2.21, and we want to actually keep the proportion same. So once I hit 3 and click out of that box, you're going to see him go to 3 inches high here. Now you're able to ungroup this image. And we're basically going to drag our layers onto different parts of the mat. So we have our orange layer, a red layer, we have the gold color here. We also have a gold color right here. So we'll position that right here. And then we have this brown piece here. So we've put all of our layers on our virtual mat. And the next thing we need to do is cut our paper that's going to be going onto our real mat. And this is where those little tiny squares come into play. So because we know these are 1 inch by 1 inch squares, we can count over and down, and we'll know how big to cut our paper. So for example, in my orange paper, I know that I need to cut it 1, 2, 3 inches high and 1, 2, 3, 4 inches wide. And then I'm going to go ahead and select that, put that on my Cricut mat. Over here for his red little hat, I know that I need to go over about 2 inches wide and 2 inches tall and go and put that on my mat. On the gold color, by counting over, I know I need to go 1, 2, 3, 4 inches wide, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inches high. Now keep in mind we're doing 11.5 mats, so we might have a little discrepancy there because we do have an extra ½ inch around this perimeter to work. And for our last piece on this brown piece, we're going to go ahead and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inches wide, 1, 2, 3, 4 inches high. Now once you have your paper on your mat, we're going to go ahead and select all images, and then this is going to pop up a layers box. Now your options are weld, contour, or attach. We're going to attach these images, and what that essentially does is it's going to change, first of all, your colors to one color, and that's why you want to lay your paper before this step, because that way you can still see your colors. But essentially it's attaching these images into the spot that you have them in Design Space. So now when I hit go, all of your images are on one mat, and they're exactly where you attach them. Now, if you wanted to place your paper on your mat at this time, you could still do that, because in one of the updates, Cricut Design went ahead and added these squares in this mode as well. So you could technically, if you remember the colors, you could now put your paper on there if you wanted to. So this is a great way to utilize paper. It's going to be a great paper saving because you're only using the paper you need. So you basically get what you see. What you see is what you get here. It's going to cut all on one mat. So for a lot of people, this is a huge time saver. I've used it all the way up to 7 different layers because you can obviously put layers in this spot of the mat. You can put them in this spot of the mat, this spot of the mat. You can utilize the whole mat. So I've used this, but it's been a huge time saver for me because I'm only doing 1 cut versus 7 cuts with 7 mats and taking the paper and putting the paper off, putting the paper back on, taking the paper off. This is a huge time saver for me. So this is a great way to just use 1 mat. Alright guys, it's as easy as that to use that attach feature. Alright, I hope you are following my blog. You can catch that at www.creativeken.blogspot.com. Make sure you subscribe and watch all of my YouTube videos. You can subscribe by clicking the link right here on your screen. Just click it, subscribe, and then you get to see all of my videos. I know how excited you are. I know, it's very exciting. Alright guys, I really hope that this gives you more time to create magical projects that you can share with the world. So go downstairs, go upstairs, wherever your Cricut room is or your Cricut space is, go make a design and make something magical. Thanks for watching guys.